What's up, everybody? Oswald here, giving you another review for Ghost of Tsushima. Is it Tsushima or Tsushima? I don't know. Anyways, what's up, everybody? So, if you haven't seen my first impressions of this game, go ahead and check them out, as well as my other review, which was on The Last of Us Part 2. They are in the description. But anyways, my first impressions were very positive. But I have to say, the rest of this game has been just as good, if not even better. So let's get right into it, boy. So, I always start with the graphics because I feel like nowadays the graphics for most AAA titles are just so good. I feel it's pretty redundant to go on and on about the graphics. But this game in particular does have great graphics. I already stated in my impressions the armor and the weapons, the skin textures, the environments. Oh boy, the environments. They're so varied. But the color palette, really the color palette, is simply wow, beautiful. Just beautiful. Is the best part of the graphics. The colors are just so bright, it's so plentiful, just wow. Just wow. If for some reason you hate colors, you can enable Kurosawa mode to get some old school samurai film vibes, which I enjoyed for a bit, if just for the novelty of it. One little criticism I have is sometimes the lip syncing is less than amazing, and it's completely absent if you're listening in Japanese, which I did, as well as some of the facial expressions, but there are also some good facial expression moments. Overall, graphics are just phenomenal, to be completely honest. Alright, so moving on to gameplay. I believe it's fair to say gameplay is the bread and butter of Ghost of Tsushima. The combat is amazing, it's smooth, it's sleek. The only small drawback is there's no lock-on, so there are a few times where Jin kind of doesn't know who to look at while you're fighting when there's a lot of enemies. Also, very few times I saw an enemy kind of walking in circles, kind of not knowing what to do with me. But it was just a rare bug. However, as far as the lock-on, I did get used to fighting this way, and I quickly became a pro once I spent a good amount of time playing. I just never got tired. Guys, I never got tired of cutting down my enemies, wiping their blood off my sword, and bowing in honor. To me, it just never got old. It's so satisfying. Also, the game is constantly building on itself. You're constantly obtaining new tools, new ghost weapons, new abilities. I was looking at early footage of my playthrough and I was surprised at how little you have at the beginning compared to the end. I said to myself, how am I even getting anything done at this point in the game? This is incredible. The side activities have a commendable variety, ranging from enemy strongholds that you have to clear, to bamboo strikes, to haikus and hot springs. It's satisfying to see places that you liberate later become populated by locals resuming their day-to-day lives. I had a great time doing these side activities, but I think I spammed them just a bit too much that I did begin to tire myself out near the very end, just because I was trying so hard to get everything. So if you are going to play the game, just try to pace yourself so you don't tire yourself out. The side quests are great, some better than others, but some are really amazing, and they're long, and they can span almost the entire game. Next, the stealth is solid. It's not the best. It's definitely not Metal Gear level AI. However, I personally had a good deal of fun stealthing around, assassinating enemies, shooting them with the bow, luring them to places where I can get the drop on them. You know, other people may not feel this way, but I was actually relieved the game was not so hardcore in the stealth department. I would laugh and simply be grateful sometimes when they didn't immediately spot me. Just because this game kind of strikes me as a slasher with stealth thrown in there just for variety and agency in how you take on any given situation. I first thought it was going to be super grounded, you know, boots on the ground, as they say. And it's not. I mean, it's grounded, but it's not overwhelmingly heavy. Jin moves fairly quickly and smoothly. The game doesn't waste your time with anything. It just wants you to have fun, get to where you're going, do what you want to do. Shoot, even the fast travel is incredibly fast. Like, it's actually fast travel. Moving on, the traversal is solid with a few nice touches. I was pleasantly surprised at the freedom you have in terms of traversing the environment. Jin can grab on and pull himself up from most places. The climbing itself is rather simple, but just the fact that it's there gives you choices as to how you get around and allows you to avoid going all the way around a rock formation, giving you some freedom in the path that you take. You can even go into small cross spaces to get the jump on enemies near or inside buildings. Also, you can swim. Whee! Overall, there are a good amount of paths you can take in any given area. That's something that I personally just didn't expect from the game. I felt it was going to be more restrictive and heavy, but it's not that at all. Now, the story of Ghost of Tsushima is where I was most impressed and surprised. As usual, I will provide a spoiler free review, so don't you worry. But yes, I thought the story was going to be much more cut and dry. Here you go, what you see is what you get. And it is, kind of, in the beginning. But around the late second act to third act, it takes a turn. Jin and other important characters make decisions I didn't expect them to make. Things happen, people die, bonds break, people change and they grow. It was very interesting to watch for me because the game is now overwhelmingly emotional about it because of the samurai code and the honor and the strength. That these men are very stoic, and sometimes people might feel like they're emotionless. They're not, but it might come off that way. But it's even more emotional when you think it over. These are strong, borderline stubborn men that are set in their ways and will not change. The beauty, however, is deep down you can tell they wish there was another way, but the code of the samurai and the ancient Japanese culture of honor and strength make for some incredible battles against unexpected characters that will pull on your heartstrings. Not to mention the ending. Oh, the ending. Man, it was so good, you guys. Probably my favorite part of the game. That is how you end the game. Nice and strong. I loved it. I really did. Also, for those that are interested, there is actually some LGBTQ themes sprinkled in there, including strong women archetypes, if that's your thing. Moving on. Can I recommend this game? The answer is a resounding yes! The combat is incredibly fun, with good depth. The exploration and the side activities and the rewards are fun and fulfilling. The story is great. It's a solid samurai vengeance story, but with a nice little twist at the very end, or near the end. There is so much for you to enjoy here. I mean, I already told you all to go buy it, but I'm gonna tell you again. Go buy Ghost of Tsushima right now! Right now! Please! Now, my final verdict I had to think long and hard about. Throughout the game, I did find a few very minor bugs. I also found myself getting just a little tired of the side activities, although it could be how much I spammed it. I finished the game having only a few undiscovered regions. The lack of Japanese lip syncing bothered me a tiny bit, as well as non perfect English lip syncing. Very minuscule hiccups in the combat, like the lack of a lock on, for example, among other small things. The game has about a handful of little nitpicky things that do add up, but that remaining part of the game is just so good. The combat, the abilities, the graphics, the weapons, the armor, the side activities, the story, the ending. The game was sitting on just about the highest 8 that I can give it. However, the ending was so good. It finished so strong, so satisfying, which is so important to me, that ultimately I had to give Ghost of Tsushima a solid 9 out of 10. No more, no less. To break it down, I felt like the tiny, rare bugs brought it down about a half a point. The lack of Japanese lip syncing and sometimes off English lip syncing brought it down another half a point. Then the little bumps in the road for combat and sometimes traversal brought it down one last half a point, more or less, throughout the game. But that ending, guys, and the story simply earned so much respect from me that I had to bump it back up, just barely making it to a flat 9 out of 10. Alright, thanks to all of you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. There is definitely more to come. Before I go, let me know what score you give Ghost of Tsushima if you play it, and if you think it's worthy of Game of the Year. If not, what game do you think deserves Game of the Year for this year so far? I definitely think it might be a contender, but there's a lot of competition considering Cyberpunk is set to come out late 2020. Alright, I'm signing out. See you next time here on All's Will. Peace out.